Hello family and friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Cynthia from Cynthia's Crafts and More. If you're new here, welcome. It's an honor to have you. If you're returning, thank you. If you haven't already, if you could please take a moment and click that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Make sure you click that solid bell, the solid dark bell. And give me a thumbs up showing you like this video, and leave me a comment below because I love to hear from you. Today I'm going to be doing a reading from the Bible.com YouVersion, the New King James Version, and I'm going to be reading from the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 10. I'm going to apologize in advance if I mispronounce some of these cities and people's names. I'm really bad about the pronunciation, but I do my best. Deuteronomy chapter 10. The second pair of tablets. At the time the Lord said to me, Hew for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come to me upon the mountain and make yourself an ark of wood. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I put that on silent. And I will write on the tablets the words that were there on the first tablets, which you broke, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, hewed 2 tablets, and stone like the first, and went up the mountain, having 2 tablets in my hand. And he wrote on the tablets according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord had spoken to you in the mountains from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly of the Lord. And the Lord gave them to me. Then I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I made. And there they are, just as the Lord commanded me. Now the children of Israel journeyed from the wells of Beni Jaakan and to Mosera, where Aaron died, and where he was buried. And Eleazar his son ministered as priest in his stead. From there the journey to Gada, and from Gada to Jathbatha, a land of rivers of water. At the time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister to him, and to bless his name to this day. Therefore Levi had no portion, no inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, just as the Lord God promised him. As at the first time I stayed in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. The Lord has heard me at that time, and the Lord chose not to destroy you. Then the Lord said to me, Arise, begin your journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I swore to the fathers to give to them. The essence of the law. And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command you today, for your good. Indeed, heaven and the highest heavens belong to the Lord your God. Also the earth with all that is in it. The Lord delighted only in your fathers to love them, and he chose their descendants after them, you above all peoples, as it is this day. Therefore circumcise the foreskin of your heart, and be stiff-necked no longer. For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. He administers justice for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the stranger, giving him food and clothing. Therefore love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall fear the Lord your God. You shall serve him, and to him you shall hold fast and take oaths in his name. He is your praise, and he is your God, who has done for you these great and awesome things, which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Egypt with 70 persons, and now the Lord your God has made you as the stars of heaven in multitude. And this concludes the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10. Oops, okay, I need to put you on pause for just a second. For some reason, my computer's acting up. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Rewards of obedience. You shall therefore love the Lord your God, and always keep his directive, his statutes, his ordinances, and his commandments. Now, this day that I am not speaking with your sons, who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works, which he did in the midst of Egypt, to Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and to all his land. And what he did to Egypt's army, to its horses, and to its chariots, when he made the water of the Red Sea engulf them while they were pursuing him, and the Lord completely eliminated them, and what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Elab, and the son of Reuben, and when the earth opens its mouth and swallow them, their households, their tents, and everything living that followed them, among all Israel. But your own eyes have seen all the great work of the Lord which he did. You shall therefore keep every commandment which I am commanding you today, so that you may be strong and go in and take possession of the land to which you are about to cross to possess it, and so that you may prolong your days on the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them to their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land into which you are entering to possess it is not the land of the Egypt from which you came, where you used to sow your seed and water it by your foot like a vegetable garden, but the land into which you are about to cross to possess it, a land of hills and valleys, drinks water from the rain of heaven, a land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are continually on it from the beginning, even to the end of the year. And it shall come about, and listen, if you listen obediently to my commandments, which I am commanding you today, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and all your soul, that he will provide rain for the land in its season, the early and the late rain, so that you may gather your grain, your new wine, and your oil. He will also provide grass in your fields for your cattle, and you will eat to be satisfied. Beware that your hearts are not easily deceived, and that you do not turn away and serve other gods and worship them. Otherwise, the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will shut up the skies so that there will be no rain, and the ground will not yield its produce. Then you will quickly perish from the good land which the Lord is giving you. You shall therefore take these words of mine to heart and to soul, and you shall tie them up as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets on your forehead. You shall also teach them to your sons, speaking of them when you sit in your house, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your sons may be increased. On the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them, as long as the heavens are above the earth. For if you are careful to keep all of his commandment, which I am commanding you to do, to the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and cling to him, then the Lord will dispose all these nations from you, and you will dispose nations greater and mightier than you. Every place on which the sole of your footsteps shall be yours. Your border will be from the wilderness to Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea. No one will be able to stand against you. The Lord your God will instill the dread of you and the fear of you in all the land on which you set foot, just as he has spoken to you. See, I am placing you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing is if you listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am commanding you today, and the curse if you do not listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I am commanding you today, by following other gods which you have not known. And it shall come about when the Lord your God brings you into the land where you are entering to possess it, that you shall place the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not across the Jordan, west of the road toward the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites who live in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, beside the oaks of Morn? For you are about to cross the Jordan to go and to take possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall possess it and live in it. And you shall be careful to do all the statutes and the judgments which I am placing before you today. And this concludes Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy chapter 12. Laws of Sanctuary. These are the statutes and the judgments which you shall carefully follow in the land of the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess. As long as you live on the earth, you shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you are going to dispose serve their gods, on the high mountains, on the hills, and under every leafy tree. And you shall tear down their altars and smash the memorial stones to pieces and burn their Asherim into fire, and cut to pieces the carved images of their gods, and you shall eliminate their name from that place. You shall not act this way toward the Lord your God, but you shall seek the Lord at the place which the Lord your God will choose from all the tribes to establish his name there for his dwelling, and you shall come there. You shall bring there your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the contribution of your hand, your vowed offerings, your voluntary offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and of the flock. Therefore you and your households shall eat before the Lord your God, and rejoice in all your undertakings in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do at all what we were doing here today, everyone doing whatever is right in his own eyes, for you have not as yet come to the resting place and the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you. When you cross the Jordan and live in the land which the Lord your God is giving you as inheritance, he gives you the rest from your enemies around you so that you live in security. Then it shall come about that the place in which the Lord your God will choose for his name to dwell, there you shall bring everything that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the contribution of your of your hand, and all your choice vowed offerings, which you will vow to the Lord, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and daughters, your male and female slaves, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Be careful that you do not offer your burnt offerings in any cultic place that you see, but only in the place which the Lord chooses in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do everything that I command you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your gates, whatever your desire according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it, as the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall eat the blood you pour. Only you shall eat the blood. You are to pour it out on the ground like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, new wine or oil, or the firstborn of your herd or flock, or any of your vowed offerings which you vow, or your voluntary offerings, or the contribution of your hand. But you shall eat them before the Lord your God in place which the Lord your God will choose, you and your son and daughter and your male and female slaves, and the Levite who is within your gates, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all your undertakings. Be careful that you do not abandon the Levite, as long as you live in your land. When the Lord your God extends your border as he has promised you, and you say, I will eat meat because you desire to eat meat, then you may eat meat, whatever you desire. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you may slaughter animals from your herd and flock which the Lord has given you, as I have commanded you, and you may eat within your gates. Whatever you desire, just as a gazelle or a deer is eaten, so you may eat it. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it. Only be sure not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and you shall not eat the life with the flesh. You shall not eat it, you shall pour it out on the ground like water. You shall not eat it, so that it may go well for you and your sons after you, since you will be doing what is right in the sight of the Lord. Only your holy things, which you may have your vowed offerings, you shall take and go to the place which the Lord chooses, and you shall offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, on the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar your God. You shall eat the flesh. Be careful and listen to all these words which I command you, so that you may go well for you and your sons after you forever. For you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God cuts off from you the nations which you are going to disposes, and you disposes them and live in their land, be careful that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from your presence, and that you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how do these nations serve their gods? As I also may do likewise. You shall not behave this way toward the Lord your God, because every abominable act which the Lord hates, they have done for their gods, for they for they even burn their sons and daughters in their fire for their gods. Whatever I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to nor take anything away from it. And this concludes the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12. I hope you've enjoyed these readings and that you'll come back for some more. My goal is to do these every day, but with my health and everything, it's just been really hard to do that. Yesterday, I found out that from the injury when I fractured my foot, I may have torn some ligaments in the between the arch of my foot here and probably about halfway up my leg. So I'm just waiting for the MRI results for that. If there are torn ligaments and tendons, I will have to have surgery. So prayers that everything is going to be okay, and that with wearing the boot for about another 6 to 8 weeks, that it will heal. And this coming Sunday, September 10th, myself and Carlos will be getting baptized. Carlos does not know yet. I think he has a suspicion, but he doesn't know. I haven't confirmed or denied. I just said I have a surprise for him. So I am going to have one of my friends from church record the baptism ceremony. So I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed day. And remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I. And let's pray for peace and love. Until next time, God bless. Love you guys.